The problem is that they don't have to bribe you and pay you off while you're in office. The way it works is, generally speaking, you get a hefty payment after you leave office because it's not illegal then. Well, we have to make it illegal because basically the leader, the politician, just says, well, he knows that in 2 years, he doesn't have to take the bribe now. If they promise him $10 million when he leaves office 2 years from now, he's going to do whatever they want him to do, just as the same as if they were to give him the money while he was in office. You see the problem? Right? And when you look at the heads of the intelligence agencies, the heads of the CIA and the FBI, heads of the military, the senators and congressmen, these people are getting this. All these people are not getting more than 220 grand. 200,000, 190, 180 for senator, 190. I don't even know. Who cares? It's only around 200. That's the maximum. 220 maybe for the head of the National Security Agency. That's nothing. That's chump change for the trillionaire Rothschilds. It's the change in their fucking pockets. Here, yeah. It's and they reach in there and they reach, oh yeah, I have some change. That's how easy it is to buy them. So it has to be a law that says, okay, if you're a politician and you're in a major position of power in the United States government, in the federal government or state government, you cannot, when you leave office, work for a giant military arms maker or a banking financial institution or a pharmaceutical concern. In fact, you can't work for anyone because they'll find a way to get or a foundation because the military arms manufacturer will find a way to make a foundation called the Foundation for Good Things. That's how they do it. They save the children. You work for that thing and then you get the money that way. And basically it's just a payoff from like Raytheon or the weapons manufacturers. That's how it's done. Nothing is as it appears. Everything is done for another reason. I mean, it would be one thing if Bill Gates if it would be one thing if Fauci and Gates and the whole infrastructure of Cuomo's and everyone just, CDC and WHO and Tedros just came out and said, look, we're here to screw you over, fucking, we got to get rid of 80% of you. I'm going to throw the remaining 20 in a pod. You're going to be working really hard for us. We're going to take away all your rights and let us vote on this. Why go through all this hoops about a virus? Oh, masks and virus. Why don't you just cut to the chase? You want to get rid of 80% of us. Why do you have to lie and do all this obfuscation of what you're doing? Come on. Do it out in the open, man. That's what fascism really is all about. Just come right out and say, you know what? Just get your jackboots on. And, that's what it's all about. These people are just robbing us of our future for money. And it was one thing when these scummy politicians just fucking took the money so that they could get a house up in Poughkeepsie and a swimming pool and their mistress and whatever cocaine or drugs they were doing. That was one thing. It's entirely another thing when they want to take your fucking house, get a needle in you with some kind of strange, weird DNA, Rubik's Cube kind of thing, changing your DNA, and they get the entire infrastructure of government to put their jackboot on you, get everybody to wear masks, and get our fellow citizens to be their instruments of power against us. That's not working out for a lot of people. Like, it's one thing, just take the money and get your fucking house in Poughkeepsie, get a Jaguar, and fucking piss off, man. Fuck off with your fucking needles, man. And your vaccine to help us, you fuckers. And the way you've brainwashed everybody with your bullshit. Oh, yes, Yale University. Oh, yes, we got to do a study on how to fucking fool and trick everybody into taking the vaccine. Oh, let's study how to shame them. Let's study how to make them feel guilty. Let's study how to threaten them. Let's study how to get their neighbors to threaten them. This fucking Yale study. How to get your neighbors to threaten you. How to make you feel like shit if you don't take it. This is the science of fascism. This is the science of totalitarian fascism. That's what it is. We were doing fine without your fucking needles, man. We don't need your fucking needles or your fucking masks. And this thing was... And then everybody, when you say, it's the biggest fucking hoax ever, everybody goes, oh, no, I know somebody who died. No, you don't. Bullshit. You know somebody who died because they were old. That's what they died for. Oh, no, I knew somebody who was really, really sick. A really good friend of mine was really, really sick. Yeah. And then somebody, now when everybody says that to me, I say, yeah, what's their name? Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah. It was just like when Trump took office, they had spread all this story in the media. Oh yes, everyone's pussy's gonna get groped, and everyone was like in the streets. My pussy's gonna get groped. My pussy's gonna get groped. Trump. And on Inauguration Day, there was hundreds of thousands of women in the street. Oh, my pussy. And no pussies got. And I said, there's no pussies gonna get groped. And no pussies were groped, but boy, there were a whole lot of stories, and I had to deal with this shit, fighting online with people. Oh, yes, I know somebody who was the subject of a violent attack. Oh, no, they weren't. Oh, yes, they were. No, they weren't. What's their name? Tell me the nature of the attack. Well, it was a verbal attack. Oh, yeah, sure. And it wasn't even that. And it's the same with this COVID bullshit. Oh, no, I knew someone who was really sick. Yeah, no, you knew somebody who got the sniffles. And if you live in an environment where they say, oh, yes, the bubonic plague, that literally, if you know how Americans work, if you just got the sniffles, if you just got a minor sniffles, boy, when you tell that story, it's going to be, oh, yeah, there I was. Death was knocking on my door. It was an epic struggle of life and death, and I was there fighting it, Shut the fuck up. You had the sniffles, you douchebag. Oh, no, I know somebody who was really in the sick. They went to the hospital. They died. Yeah, because they put a respirator down their throat because they got the 40 grand. Oh, you didn't hear about that. You ask people, you do realize that the hospitals get paid 40 grand to kill you with a respirator. And the respirators 90% of the time, or greater than 90% of the time, actually are responsible for killing you. And they get 40 grand to do that.
Hospital administrators might well want to see COVID-19 attached to a discharge summary or a death certificate. Why? Because if it's a straightforward garden variety pneumonia that a person is admitted to the hospital with, if they're on Medicare, typically the diagnosis related group lump sum payment will be about $5,000. But if it's COVID-19 pneumonia, then it's $13,000. And if that COVID-19 pneumonia patient ends up on a ventilator, it goes to $39,000. Now, I can demonstrate those facts to you, and I've been fact-checked, and I've sent it out to different news sources. I didn't make these things up. You can get these from Medicare. What's happening there? We're seeing an expansion of what that patient's chart looks like, what their picture looks like. Why? Because if we can increase the index of severity of a patient, we get paid more. I was medical director of a nursing home for years. We constantly talked about, in our meetings, about the need to elevate the index of severity, because then the nursing home gets paid more per day per patient. What does this mean? Well, I know this is offensive for you, but this is the way it works. The network, the insurance company, they won't let us do otherwise.
Here's a clue. If you have a brain, right? Here's a good test. I wouldn't let these motherfucking scumbags at these Jewish-run hospitals put a respirator if it was the last thing on... It was my last... I don't even know what...
So when editing this video, I realized that I'm genuinely at a loss for words, because typically the expression goes, I wouldn't do this if it was the last thing I did, or if it was the last thing on earth. But it would be the last thing on earth, and it wouldn't be the last thing that I did. It would be the last thing that got done to me, you see, because when they intubate you, your family is not allowed in the hospital because of COVID, right? So your family is not allowed in the in the decision making. A hospital has an obligation to save you. Okay, so they say, well, this person's going to need the intubation, the ventilator tube down the throat. Okay, they're going to need it. They know that the death rate is greater than 90%. In some places, there's been a study that out of 33 patients, only 3 got off it that were intubated. Okay, just a hint. Don't let them put an intubation down your throat if it's the last thing they did. And you can see the confusion in my... I'm typically not at a loss for words, okay? And that's why it's an interesting moment to catch me in one of my rants. That's why you don't go into a hospital. A hospital has a very high incentive to kill you for profit. They don't care about you. They only care about getting that $39,000 plus the $13,000 to claim that you had COVID. So they don't even have to do a test. All they have to do is say that you had COVID. No tests necessary. And then shove the tube down your throat. You die. You don't have any choice in that because they cannot put a tube down your throat unless you're under general anesthesia. So again, it's back to this needle in you. That's all these fuckers want to do is put fucking needles in you. And then once they knock you out, then you never wake up. So you don't even have time to say your goodbyes to your loved ones because your loved ones are not allowed in to see you because of this COVID pandemic that is spread by Israeli intelligence at the behest of the Jewish bankers in the city of London, namely the Rothschild banking empire, who own most of the gold in the world. And they say, oh, come on, Forbes only says they have a small amount of money. They have the gold. They were the gold fixers for 100 years, man. They sat in their office and fixed the price of gold. That means you buy all the gold, huh? Hello? If you fix the price of gold, then you can bring the price down. Everybody sells it. You buy it. You bring the price up. You sell it. You bring the price down. They sell. You buy. If you go to a hospital, you're crazy. You're looking to get killed for money. Open your mind. Your lives are in danger. Okay, here's a good test. I wouldn't let these motherfucking scumbags at these Jewish-run hospitals put a respirator if it was the last thing on... It was my last... I don't even know what... No rest. None of your fucking ventilators go down my throat.
Everything I've seen in the last 9 days, all the things that just don't make sense, the patients I'm seeing in front of me, the lungs I'm trying to improve, have led me to believe that COVID-19 is not this disease and that we are operating under a medical paradigm that is untrue. And I fear that this misguided treatment will lead to a tremendous amount of harm to a great number of people in a very short time. We typically use ventilators to treat what's called respiratory failure. That is, we use the ventilator to do the work that the patient's muscles can no longer do because they're too tired to do it. These patients' muscles work fine. I fear that if we are using a false paradigm to treat a new disease, that the method that we program the ventilator, one based on a notion of respiratory failure as opposed to oxygen failure, that this method, and there are a great many number of methods we can use with the ventilator, but this method being widely adopted at this very moment in every hospital in the country, which aims to increase pressure on the lungs in order to open them up, is actually doing more harm than good. And that the pressure we are providing that we are providing to lungs, we may be providing to lungs that cannot stand it, that cannot take it, and that the ARDS that we are seeing, that the whole world is seeing, may be nothing more than lung injury caused by the ventilator.
Yeah, and I love the Time magazine. Ventilators, they say, may not, I love how they soft pedal this shit. The ventilators may not be working as well for COVID-19 patients as doctors had hoped. Yeah. How about, forget the word may not be working. How about definitely are not working? It's like 9 out of 10 die. It's greater than 9 out of 10, fucking Jewish information. That's why they would never let me in the editorial board of Time magazine, because I'd be like, when they were going to go to press with this headline, I'd be like, well, may not be working. They're definitely not working as doctors had hoped, as patients for patients. Well, no, actually, they're working well for the hospital administrators, because they're getting a lot of death and they're a lot of money. They're getting, but it's not working out well for the patient. Definitely not working out. Not may not be, not kind of, sorta, not working out. Definitely not working out. Definitely not work. Ventilators definitely are not working out for patients. Just so we use the right fucking terminology. That's why I say, if it's a Jewish, in Time magazine Jewish, if it's Jewish publication, just forget it, man. If you care about your family, forget it. It's not legit information. It's there to push the line of the billionaires who have deep financial interests in killing you for profit. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And the surveillance companies and the companies that are going to be installing the totalitarian controls, because that's the other aspect of this thing. Okay, so, and you go in there, and the other doctor, Dr. Jensen, who says that basically the hospital administrators are being told that make everything COVID and get that tube down the throat, because if you just go in there with a normal cold or something or normal pneumonia, Medicare pays $5,000 to the hospital. But if they could claim that it's COVID, they get $13,000, and then if they get that tube down your throat, another $39,000. So that's whatever, do the math, $52,000 versus, $5,000 if you have just a pneumonia, or you go in there with a stubbed toe. This is literally what's going on. You walk into a hospital, you've stubbed your toe really bad, and they go like, "Yo, get the ventilator down his throat." It's like, dude, I stubbed my fucking toe, man. Get the ventilator down. Don't worry. No. I don't want the ventilator. I heard 9 out of 10. It may not be working out for 9 out of 10 people, Please. And they're like, anesthetize them. Give them a general anesthesia and get that fucking the ventilator down the throat. Yeah, Jewish system. Yeah, good luck. No. Get the hydroxychloroquine. Hint. Have hydroxychloroquine and zinc sulfate and the azithromycin. Yeah, just a clue. Yeah.
None of your fucking ventilators go down my throat because no one wakes up for them. And that's a Jewish payout. It's 40 grand for the ventilator, right? And you tell this to people. You say, you haven't heard yet that it's 13 grand to get you in there and claim that you have COVID. And then another 40 if they can get that tube down your throat and kill you. And people, I never heard that. Oh, yeah. You never heard that Fauci, you never heard the statement where Fauci says, well, you can wear the mask if you want to, but it doesn't really do anything. But, if it makes you feel comfortable, you can do that. No, I never heard that. And they don't believe that he actually ever said that. And they won't take the time to click on a link to look for it.
When you see people and look at the films in China and South Korea, whatever, everybody's wearing a mask. Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
And like I say, they just will not believe it. And if they hear him actually say that, they'll accept the excuse that, oh, well, yeah, because we had to save masks for caregivers. Yeah, no. Okay, so I want to hearken back to the good old days when a corrupt piece of shit like Cuomo, who is a servant of money, he's a servant. Okay? He's just doing what the Jewish banking power in the city of London is telling him to do.
Okay, now here's the big fat conflict of interest that's going on when Cuomo picks this guy named Mulrow to be his in charge of the managing the crisis, helping New Yorkers through this crisis. Well, problem is that he is currently a senior advisor for Blackstone Group. And if you know about Blackstone Group, you know that in the 2008 housing bubble, it was Blackstone Group that ended up owning more suburban homes than any other Wall Street company had ever done. And it was actually the first time in Wall Street history where a major Wall Street company ended up owning a lot of suburban houses that they basically stole because they created the crisis. They put you out of your homes. They took the homes. They controlled them. And then they put these leases that when they rented them out to people that went from 3 pages to 14, 15, 16 pages long. And they were so onerous that people said that these were the worst fucking scumbag landlords, Jewish landlords, of course, and that they'd ever experienced. And of course, when you say, Vox, you're always saying the word Jew. Well, it's because every rock you turn under this fucking scam, it's a Jewish company, a Jewish person, a Jewish whatever. So don't blame me, man. I'm just calling it as I see it. Problem is, this guy worked not only for Blackstone Group, but in his previous job, he worked for Rothschild. You can't make this up, man. This is like Cuomo saying to New Yorkers, okay, fish, here's the cat. Here's the fish in the goldfish bowl. Here's the cat. I'm going to go have lunch. The cat's going to guard over you. Good luck, New Yorkers. Cuomo's a piece of shit. He works for the Jewish bankers. He works for the Jewish hedge funds and asset managers and private equity corporations. That's who Cuomo works for. That's who everybody in a major political position in the United States works for. That's who all the media works for. That's why you're getting this bullshit. And the only people that don't work for these Jewish bankers is like people like Del Bigtree, Robert Kennedy, a few other people. The rest of them are compromised. Of course you don't trust these people. You only can trust people that are getting harm caused to them. People like Robert Kennedy, they're losing money. By helping you and your family, they're losing money. They're suffering to help you. This is not a good career move for these people. They're being attacked from all corners. To help you and your family, least you could do is listen to him. Listen to Del Bigtree. I just discovered what they were saying. I knew a little bit about what Robert Kennedy was saying, but I just, these last couple days, watched a few long videos of this great man. The same with Del Bigtree, super articulate man. I just saw him for the first time this week. I can't believe I've seen the name and I've seen his face, but I didn't actually sit down and watch his videos. I was so busy. So you need to go and watch, or read, but watch what people like Del Bigtree, people like Robert Kennedy are saying. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family. Show your friends. Show your neighbors. Say, no, 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 no. You have to watch this. Do that. Do it now. Before it's too late. He's a servant. Okay? He's just doing what the Jewish banking power in the city of London is telling him to do. Just like everybody at the United Nations, everybody at the World Economic Forum. It's not a World Economic Forum. It's a Jewish banker forum from the city of London. It's not the United Nations. It's a Jewish banker control of, you know how easy it is to control a group of people that you've put in there as diversity hires? Basically, they realize that the United Nations, it's the easiest thing in the world. Put someone like Tedros as a diversity hire, literally, because he's not qualified to be in a dog catcher. He's such a low caliber piece of shit, Tedros, at the World Health Organization. They put him in because his skin is black, and he's from Africa. And then so a Bill Gates guy has total control over someone like that, because that guy's just happy that he has any power, because he was just a terrorist out of his African country. I don't even remember what it was, Kenya or something. I don't even remember, because he's just a marginal figure. He's not an expert on health at all. He doesn't know about any of this stuff. He's just a compliant, supine tool of the billionaire banker class. That's what Tedros is. That's what the head of all these organizations are. That's what the head of the CIA, NSA, FBI, and it looks like William Barr. I mean, I've been pushing Barr. I have a feeling that they might be watching this stuff, because I'm seeing a lot of changes. I'm seeing that narrative, that bullshit narrative that Barr was pushing. It's not Antifa. It's not an organization. It is an ideology, a loosely connected. No. It's a military grade, rigid command structure, Barr. And this message goes out to Donald Trump. You tell Barr and you tell the heads of all your intelligence agencies they have 1 week to find the connection between Israeli intelligence and Antifa and Black Lives Matter. 1 week to find the money trail. 1 week. Or they lose their job. Right? 1 week. Put me in charge. If I was in charge of the Central Intelligence Agency, I'd have your answers right away. But that's not the point. The point of when you're a guy who's in the head of the CIA or the FBI, and you're making $220,000 a year, you're just counting your days until you could get out
and get your 6-figure salary. Hopefully it's high 6 figures. So maybe, I wonder if it's going to be 600,000 or 500,000, to lobby my old organization on behalf of Lockheed, Boeing, Raytheon, Israel. They need to make it against the law to be a lobbyist, of course. No lobbying. No lobbying. Keep everybody honest. Let's play a game. Hey, everybody, let's bet. Let's see if we can guess which Jewish lobby that Mike Pompeo is going to work for when he leaves. After they fumigate the State Department, when that fat fucker leaves. Let's all guess. Is it going to be the Foundation of Defense of Democracy? Israeli intelligence, disguised as a Washington think tank. That's where Michael Hayden is right now. Is it going to be, how much is he going to get from the Jewish lobbyists? From the Jewish bankers through Israeli intelligence, through the think tank. So the money starts in the city of London, goes through Israeli intelligence, decides the think tank runs the actual payment. So how much is Mike Pompeo going to get? Oh, when he works for the Jews, that's all his life is all about, because a guy like Pompeo is not really worth much because nobody really likes him. What is he, from a congressman from Nebraska? Who gives a fuck about a congressman from Nebraska? Nobody cares, right? He has no influence. Certainly no Democratic establishment is going to go for Mike Pompeo, and the Republicans aren't going to go for the guy again. He's not a particularly stellar performer unless it's to strap on the knee pads and suck Israel's dick. That's what Mike Pompeo's really good at. Sucking off Israel under the premillennial dispensationalism, end time rapture theology. Yeah, dick. How much is he going to get? I think he thinks he's going to get 500,000. I think the Israeli think tank should really consider, because he's not really that useful to you. I wouldn't pay Mike Pompeo more than 60 grand. Jewish billionaires. Mike the Pig Pompeo is useless after he leaves office. He's not worth a penny. Save your money for better deals. You know you are always grossed out by this smiling, obsequious lickspittle. Always coming over there smiling, kissing up to Netanyahu. Ugh. Ew. Pompeo's disgusting. You know you never liked him. Don't give him any money. Don't pay him the money. Tell him you're gonna pay him, but don't give him anything. He's a dick. He's disgusting. He's like a pig. He looks like a pig. I know that's really embarrassing. He's going to be offended. He's going to say, there's no way. 60 grand, no way. I'd rather, he'd rather do something else. Well, let him do something else. Okay, 80, maybe 80 grand for Mike Pompeo, just as a token, you know? I wouldn't give Mike Pompeo over 60. I wouldn't give him a penny, but I'm saying as a token payment, because you got to pay these guys something. That's what it's all about. How much is the current head of Homeland Security going to get from his Israeli? Let's all take a bet on it, because that is what's going to happen. That's what happens to everybody, even if it doesn't say Jewish think tank on it. You trace the money back and it goes to a Jewish financial institution or foundation or think tank or fund. Yeah. That's how it works. Yeah. That's how Washington works. But see, if it wasn't about enslaving us, taking our houses and sticking fucking needles in my arm, I wouldn't give a fuck. Go ahead. Give Mike Pompeo his 120 grand a year. You know, let him get a small 16-foot boat with an outboard motor on it. or better yet, a canoe like on the Potomac, so that maybe so he could be Colby'd. Yeah, get him a canoe and Colby him. I could fix the problem. Give me a call.
This is a song about hydroxychloroquine. Oh yeah, you're gonna want it in your medicine cabinet. Oh yeah. Oh, ooh, get that hydroxychloroquine. Oh yeah. 'Cause if you believe the lying motherfuckers lying to you 'cause they wanna make a lot of money on their bullshit drugs. Oh yeah, the Jewish fucking liars in the media and in the banks. You gotta have that hydroxychloroquine. Oh yeah, or else you're gonna be a dead motherfucker. A dead motherfucker, oh yeah. It's just simply have that hydroxychloroquine. Oh yeah. Have that shit and there's erythromycin and zinc sulfate. Ooh yeah. And then if you get the sniffles and think that you're gonna die of plague, ooh yeah, then you pop a hydroxy and some azith and some zinc sulfate, and then a day or two later things are looking good. Oh yeah, and you don't need a fucking ventilator down your fucking mouth hole. Oh yeah, no, don't let them put that fucking ventilator down your fucking mouth, 'cause you're gonna die for $39,000. Oh yeah, don't let them put that ventilator. Ooh yeah, 'cause you're gonna die and you won't even get to say a goodbye. Oh yeah. They won't even let you say a goodbye. That's how much the money means to these motherfuckers. They're not gonna let you say goodbye to your loved ones. Oh yeah, 'cause they want the 39 grand and the 13 for the diagnosis. These cheesy motherfuckers, they suck and don't believe a thing they say. Oh yeah, I don't believe a single thing these lying motherfuckers say. Oh yeah. They're gonna kill you if you ain't ready and if you believe them. So tell your mothers and your fathers and your sisters and your brothers, yeah, and wake up. Oh yeah, ooh, and have some hydroxychloroquine and some azithromycin, and make sure you have some zinc sulfate to round it off. Yeah, oh yeah, and then you can tell these motherfuckers in the hospitals to piss off with their bullshit and their money that you don't even have, 'cause they're stealing all the money. The money that you don't even have, 'cause they're keeping you in your house and preventing you from working, except the rich bastards. They have the money, but they ain't even stupid. I think the rich people even know that the ventilators ain't gonna be... Think of a ventilator as like a big fucking Jewish dick right down your throat. Fuck that shit.